Namaskar, this is Akhilesh Bhargav. Welcome to Tidbits on Business and Finance with me. Due to the COVID pandemic, the global economy has been facing an unprecedented slowdown and unprecedented contraction. With the pandemic showing no signs of going away, with COVID showing no signs of abating, the global GDP, the world economy is expected to shrink by about 3% in the calendar year 2020. That translates into a global worldwide GDP output loss of $5 trillion. That's the kind of hit the global economy is going to take on account of the COVID pandemic. Every country, whether developed, developing or underdeveloped, has been afflicted by this pandemic. Their economies have been afflicted. They are facing a calamity. And all of them have adopted a similar strategy in order to battle the adversities on their economy on account of the pandemic. All countries have been initiating some kind of a fiscal stimulus or monetary policy initiatives in order to tackle the adversities, the hardships that have come because of this crisis. Of course, the extent of the fiscal stimulus and the monetary policy initiatives vary from country to country, depending on the state of their development, depending on the state of their economy, and of course, on the state of the treasury of the country concerned, which decides what is the capacity of the government of that nation in order to spend itself out of such kind of a crisis. This kind of a calamity is a national calamity, an unprecedented one, and it is imperative for every government to assess the extent of the calamity, the extent of the hardship, the extent of the crisis in a very correct, transparent, and comprehensive manner. After it assesses it correctly, it needs to accept it that there is a crisis of sorts, because unless you do not accept such a reality, you're not going to be able to come to a correct solution to be able to mitigate and tackle the crisis. Acceptance will get you a solution. Denial is not going to get you a solution. It will deny you a solution. Every government needs to accept the reality of such crisis and not deny it, especially by resorting to doctors' statistics, some fanciful figures in order to claim to the contrary that all is good and there is nothing to worry about. After all, government pronouncements are serious pronouncements. They are pronouncements which constitute the official version of the country concerned. And on the basis of the government's own assessment, many an organization formulate their own policy. And thus, it is necessary that the government's assessment and acceptance of such a national calamity is done in the most transparent and correct manner. Let's see how our country is admitting and accepting this crisis. Take the case of United Kingdom. The United Kingdom is in a recession. It is facing its worst ever economic crisis on account of the COVID pandemic, which refuses to go away. But that nation is not in a state of denial. Its finance minister, Rishi Sunak, who also happens to be a person of Indian origin, who is called the Chancellor of the Exchequer there, has been accepting the reality in its complete measure without denying it. That's been the policy of the UK government as far as the crisis there on account of the pandemic is concerned. While addressing the British Parliament, the Finance Minister Rishi Sunak there said that official forecasts predict the biggest economic decline of the UK economy in the last 300 years. He said that the pandemic will deal a lasting damage to build-up of jobs and to growth of Britain. He then made a very pertinent remark. He said that while UK's health emergency is not yet over, COVID is not yet gone. On the other hand, yet another emergency has begun, which is an economic emergency. He therefore pointed out that the country is facing a twin emergency on the health front and also on the economic front. Mr. Sunak then says that 2.6 million jobs have been lost, people have been rendered unemployed, and he therefore announced billions of pounds of investment and expenditure in infrastructure projects in order to boost jobs and to particularly provide support to low-paid workers in Britain. He also said that the government intends to cut its spending, particularly on those policies which they are not able to justify today. And that included cutting spending of all the overseas aid that Britain gives to other nations. That was a frank and straightforward assessment and acceptance of the state of the British economy and the calamity that it faces. Take the case of Japan. The Japanese economy has certainly done better than the British economy, but it continues to be in a state of uncertainty. And therefore, a top lawmaker of the ruling party there says that they do not know how far the joblessness rate is going to keep increasing. They also do not know how many bad debts are going to now come up in banks, and they also do not know how will it affect financial institutions. Thus, despite Japan being among the most heaviest indebted nations in the world in terms of public debt, despite that, the ruling party says that it intends to spend more in order to support a sagging economy. And thus, the Japanese government says that an extra budget is being drafted in order to provide further fiscal stimulus. And that's because of the uncertainty surrounding the economy on account of the continued spread of the virus. That, according to us, is yet another very transparent, straightforward admission of the state of the economy in Japan. Let's see, what do we do in India? If you look at the pronouncements that are made by the government, by the ministers and the top bureaucrats from time to time, you will realize that in India, we have an attitude of trying to play down the crisis and not accept it as it is. We have an attitude of denial. We are not willing to probably accept it for sheer political reasons or political conveniences. Perhaps the thinking is that if the government accepts that the economy is in crisis, it might sound like an admission of failure, which truly it is not. The COVID pandemic has spared no nation. Every nation's economy has been afflicted, and India's is no exception. What's wrong in accepting that there is a deep crisis in the economy? What's wrong in accepting that this crisis is going to take years to go away? What's wrong in saying that the Indian economy has been badly impacted? But surprisingly, what we hear from the finance minister and all the top babus is goody-goody things. They all like to say things as if to sound that all is well. And because of this attitude, what are the kind of statements that we listen all the time? We listen to statements that say that green shoots of recovery are visible, which they actually are not. We hear statements that revival has set in, which truly it has not in a durable and enduring manner. We hear that recovery has already started, which truly again it has not. We hear that the worst is over. We hear that growth has been much better than what was expected. And we also hear all the time that a V-shaped recovery is taking place in the economy, which again is quite contrary to the ground reality. It is because of this attitude of not accepting the crisis as it is that we hear these kind of statements. It is because of this attitude that even if there is a slight improvement in a particular statistic or data, that the government tends to gloat over it and make it sound as if now all is looking up and all is well. Take the case of India's exports. India's exports have been falling consistently. They fell for 6 consecutive months from March to August, month after month. Then in September, exports went up by about 5.3%. That was the growth of India's exports in the month of September. After that, in October, they have dipped by 5.4%, and now in November, they have dipped by 9%. In other words, between April to October, the Indian exports have witnessed a decline of 19.2%. Our export performance has been certainly worrisome. And despite that, despite this situation, when in the month of September, for just 1 month, when the exports showed a growth of 5%, the minister concerned made a triumphant remark, and then he said that this growth in exports for just 1 month is an indicator of a rapid recovery of the Indian economy. We think that was a premature statement. We also think that it was a misleading statement of sorts, and we also think that there was no need to rush and start making it sound that all is well. So in India, what we actually witness is a tendency to play down or not accept the reality as it is. We are not willing to accept or talk about those figures, that data which speaks about the real state of the economy. And what is it that we are not willing to talk about? The government doesn't like to talk about that joblessness has been rising. Jobs are not coming by. It doesn't talk about the fact that fresh investments are completely at a standstill. It doesn't like to talk about the fact that after the Diwali season has got over, high-speed indicators of the state of the economy are now showing that growth has declined all over again. It doesn't like to talk about the buildup of NPAs in the economy. It doesn't like to talk about the fact that for 8 consecutive months, the core sector of the country, which consists of 8 critical industries, has been showing a negative trend. It doesn't talk about the fact that the government treasury is so empty that government spending has declined at a time when fiscal stimulus demanded more spending by the government. The government doesn't talk about the fact that consumer confidence remains at an all-time low and thus demand is suffering. It doesn't speak about the fact that many sectors in the economy continue to languish. It also doesn't mention that tax collections till November have declined by 25% and that sectors like MSME and the informal economy are in a bad shape. The fact is that we like to talk about those data and statistics, however specious, however transitory, which seem to suit the kind of version that the government may like to give, that things are good. The fact is, things are not good. Or rather, let's look at it like this. It may look all good and green for those who sit in chairs of power, but when you ask the small entrepreneur, when you ask the entrepreneur at the ground level, when you ask the man who has lost his jobs, he's actually going to give an entirely different version. And perhaps that may be the correct version that the government seems to be denying. This is Akhilesh Bhargav signing off till we meet again. Namaskar.
Now be the first to know about the latest updates on our new news app. Go on your Android or iOS, search for HW News Network. Download our app, choose the language you prefer to get updates in, and be up to date with the latest news.
If you like this video, please share it and we would love to hear your comments in the comments section down here. Also, please do like our Facebook page and follow us on Twitter to get minute-to-minute news updates. For more such shows and videos, well, subscribe to our YouTube channel.